A mother's perspective. Much of Kelly's reflections centered on motherhood, a role she has always spoken about with pride, humor, and honesty. During the Christmas special, she alluded to how watching her children grow into independent adults has been both deeply fulfilling and unexpectedly emotional. Christmas, once filled with early mornings, scattered wrapping paper, and childlike excitement, now feels different. Not worse, just different. She acknowledged that there is beauty in watching children find their own paths, but also a tender sadness in realizing that certain moments will never return in the same way. The tree still stands, the gifts are still exchanged, but the feeling has evolved. For viewers who are parents themselves, this honesty felt validating. It reminded them that it's okay to feel both grateful and emotional at the same time.
Strength in vulnerability. What made Kelly's words so powerful was not what she said, but how she said it. There was no attempt to appear perfect, no effort to mask emotion behind jokes or polished phrasing. She allowed pauses. She allowed emotion to surface naturally. At one point, her voice softened noticeably, and while she maintained her composure, the emotion was unmistakable. It was the kind of moment that doesn't need tears to be felt. You could hear it. You could feel it. In a media world that often demands constant positivity, Kelly's willingness to embrace emotional honesty felt refreshing and brave. Mark Consuelos's quiet support. Though Mark Consuelos did not dominate the moment, his presence was quietly felt throughout the special. Kelly briefly referenced the importance of partnership during emotionally complex seasons like the holidays. She spoke about how having someone who understands you, who notices the moments when you're quiet, reflective, or overwhelmed, makes all the difference. It wasn't a dramatic declaration of love, but rather a subtle acknowledgement of shared strength. Their relationship, long admired by fans, appeared grounded not in grand gestures, but in mutual understanding and emotional support. Why this moment resonated so deeply. The reason this Christmas special struck such a chord is simple. It felt real. Viewers are used to seeing Kelly Ripa as energetic, witty, and endlessly composed. But this moment reminded everyone that behind the camera, behind the laughter, there is a human being navigating the same emotional landscape as everyone else. She didn't claim hardship. She didn't position herself as a victim. She simply acknowledged that life, especially during the holidays, is layered. That honesty made people feel seen. Social media reactions reflected this immediately. Fans shared how Kelly's words mirrored their own unspoken feelings. Parents commented about emptying homes. Adult children reflected on watching their parents age. Others spoke about missing loved ones while trying to stay joyful for those still present. The silent side of Christmas. One of the most powerful themes Kelly touched on was the idea that sadness during the holidays doesn't cancel out gratitude. Both can exist at the same time. You can love your life and still feel emotional. You can be surrounded by family and still feel nostalgic. You can smile and still carry quiet tears behind the tree. This message, delivered without preaching or dramatics, felt deeply comforting. It reminded viewers that their emotions, whatever they may be, are valid. A moment that will be remembered. In the years to come, viewers may not remember every joke or segment from this Christmas special, but they will remember how it made them feel. They will remember the pause in Kelly's voice. They will remember the softness in her expression. They will remember feeling understood. In a season often dominated by noise and obligation, Kelly Ripa offered something rare: permission to feel. Beyond the studio lights, this moment also subtly reframed how audiences see public figures. It reminded viewers that even those who live under constant spotlight experience the same emotional cycles as everyone else. Kelly's openness didn't diminish her strength, it enhanced it.
By acknowledging vulnerability, she demonstrated resilience. By sharing emotion, she built connection. It was a reminder that authenticity doesn't weaken influence, it deepens it. A gentle message for the season. As the Christmas special drew to a close, the mood felt reflective rather than heavy, hopeful rather than sad. Kelly's message wasn't one of loss, it was one of awareness. Appreciate the moment. Hold your loved ones close. Allow yourself to feel what you feel. And understand that joy doesn't have to be loud to be real. Why fans are still talking about it? Days after the broadcast, fans continued to discuss the moment. Clips circulated online, quotes were shared. Viewers replayed the segment, not because it was shocking, but because it was soothing. In a world saturated with exaggerated headlines and manufactured emotion, this quiet honesty stood out. It reminded people why Kelly Ripa has remained a beloved figure for so long, not just for her talent, but for her relatability. Conclusion: tears that spoke volumes. Tears Behind the Tree was never about sadness, it was about truth. Kelly Ripa didn't break down, she didn't unravel. She simply allowed herself to be human in a moment when many feel pressured to be perfect. And in doing so, she gave her audience a gift far more meaningful than anything wrapped under a tree: connection. This Christmas, Kelly reminded us all that it's okay if the holidays make us emotional. It's okay if joy and tears share the same space. And it's okay to acknowledge the quiet moments, because sometimes they are the ones that matter most. Tears Behind the Tree. Kelly Ripa opens up during Christmas special. Christmas is often wrapped in glittering lights, cheerful music, and carefully curated moments of joy. For millions watching at home, holiday specials promise warmth, laughter, and escape. But this year, during a deeply moving Christmas special, Kelly Ripa gently peeled back the shiny wrapping paper to reveal something far more powerful: the quiet, emotional truth that sometimes hides behind even the brightest holiday smiles. What unfolded was not a dramatic confession or headline-grabbing revelation. Instead, it was something far more intimate, an honest reflection on family, time, love, and the emotional weight that the holidays can carry, even for someone who seems to have it all. A Christmas moment that felt different. From the very beginning, viewers sensed that this Christmas special carried a different tone. The decorations were festive, the set glowing with traditional reds and greens, but there was a noticeable softness in Kelly Ripa's demeanor. Her smile, as warm as ever, seemed layered, joy mixed with reflection, humor touched by vulnerability. As she spoke, it became clear that this wasn't just another holiday broadcast. This was a moment of pause, a moment to acknowledge that while Christmas is a season of celebration, it can also be a season of quiet reckoning. Kelly didn't dramatize her feelings. She didn't sensationalize her emotions. Instead, she spoke calmly, thoughtfully, and with a sincerity that resonated deeply with viewers who have felt similar emotions but rarely see them reflected on television. The weight of the holidays. For many, Christmas brings joy, but it also brings memory. It reminds us of time passing, of children growing older, of loved ones who may not be sitting around the tree anymore. Kelly touched on this universal truth with remarkable grace. She spoke about how the holidays change as life evolves, traditions shift, homes feel different, the noise level changes, the roles we play within our family subtly transform. There's happiness, she suggested gently, but there's also a kind of ache that comes from realizing how fast everything moves. It was a sentiment that struck a chord with parents, caregivers, and anyone who has watched life quietly rearrange itself over the years.